What is up, guys? It's all here bringing another Pokemon Nerd Wi-Fi battle, and finally I'm uploading another battle. It's just back like a month ago, I think I haven't uploaded a battle for like a month. It's just back then, like, I didn't have time to narrate, and I felt like I was obliged to upload these, so I just, like, instead of dealing with all this stress and stuff, I just decided to take a break off of this, take my mind off of YouTube, and just do my own thing. And now, well, I guess I'm sort of back, so I took a little break. So anyways, this is a OU battle I had against a very good friend of mine, Dallasboi1992. And yeah, as you guys noticed, our teams in the team preview are like the exact same thing except for two different Pokemon. So, you know, this is going to turn out to be an interesting battle. So we both lit off with Rotom, which him doing that, I thought he would be Scarfed. So I go for Volt Switch, thinking, like, I wanted to test out if he's Scarfed or not. I outspeed, and I'm a modest Scarf Rotom. So there I was thinking that maybe he's a Spec set. So I go into my Latias, not wanting to take a lot of damage from, you know, maybe a Specs Rotom. So now he brings in a Celebi, and I'm like, alright, I'm a Specs Latias. I'm just going to go for Draco Meteor to see how much damage I could do. I should have went for Hidden Power Fire. That would have been a smarter thing to do. But I know Draco Meteor is way more powerful, so I thought that maybe I could take out the Celebi. But the fact that it lived with that much HP, I knew that it was a very, very defensive set. So he paralyzes me. And for some reason, I don't know why this didn't click in my head. I'm like, you know what? I got paralyzed, but my Latias got paralyzed, which is really fast. So, a good idea would go into my Agility Metagross, because, you know, it's supposed to be really fast, too. So, like, that was a stupid play on my part, because I go into Metagross, and I'm going to get paralyzed right away, and basically, that makes my Agility set completely null and void and useless and obsolete. It's horrible. So I go for Ice Punch. You know, the main reason I wanted to bring in Metagross is like so I could Ice Punch the Celebi and do a lot of damage, and maybe even hopefully take it out. But I do luckily get the Freeze Hacks. That was really lucky, and like this match is so hacksy. This is why I didn't want to narrate this battle so much, is because it's long, as you can see by the length, and it's also very hacksy. So I'm going to switch out as you go into my Rotom as he goes to Starmie, because I did not want to take a Hydro Pump or maybe like a random Hidden Power Fire. But now he has Hydro Pump and Scald, which is weird. But anyways, goes for Scald as I missed my Hydro Pump. So yeah, that was my fault. Anyway, he has Scald and I went for Hydro Pump. I just got confused by the text. Sorry about that. So I go for Hydro Pump. I missed, predicting him to switch. This match I made so many mispredictions. It's ridiculous. So now I'm going to go into Latias, you know, knowing I can take any hit, and I predict him to switch. So I go for the Surf. I guess I predicted that Hippowdon to come in, or anything that can, or a Heatran. I think it was the Heatran that I predicted to come in. So I go for Surf. The thing is, he stays in, and I'm like, I could have killed this frigging Starmie with the Draco Meteor right now, but I just didn't, which really sucks, because now I'm gonna go into Rotom, and he finally does get the Scald Burn. Now the burn was inevitable, like I saw it coming. It's, you know, no doubt that there's gonna be a burn here, because he went for like 5 Scalds and he finally got it, so I'm not even mad about that hacks. So he's gonna go into his Rotom as I do Hydro Pump this turn, predicting the switch. I miss, which sucks because that damage could have been crucial, but ends the brakes. I have to switch out now since I'm locked in a Hydro Pump and he can take me out. So I go into the Hippowdon, predicting him to Volt Switch, which, you know, and I still think he's Choice Spec. So he does go for Volt Switch, that's great, and now I can, you know, easily set up my hazards. So he goes for Hydro Pump here, and when I saw him go for Hydro Pump, I'm like, crap, this is either a dead Hippowdon or it's almost going to die. Thankfully, he does miss, so like I said, this is really hacksy. But now that I saw him switch moves, I know he's the Resto Chesto set. Like that, like I know his set now, which is great because that means I can get away. I can find a way around it. Although you'll see later that, you know, I really don't, which, you know, really bad. But yeah. Anyways, he's gonna switch out as I go into Latias, pretty much as death fodder. As yeah, he Volt Switches, and yeah, that's just I switch out, he Volt Switches. I mean, the fact that he went for Volt Switch on Hippowdon was a really good play, but I guess it was sort of obvious because I didn't want to stay in and take a Hydro Pump. So yeah, he made a good play. And now he's going to U-turn and take out my Latias. Now, I didn't save it for Death Fodder because I did not want to take a Banded Scissors hit. I mean, I obviously assume that's a Banded Scizor because every Scissor's banded. So it's going to go into Starmie again as I do go into my Rotom. And I believe, yet again, I mispredict. I think he's going to switch into Heatran or Hippowdon or anything. And I just feel that I keep thinking that he wants to keep his Starmie alive. But, like, oh, see here, he does not. So he goes for Side Shock. I mean, it's like doesn't even take me out with my Rotom, and then he just takes me out with Sensor takes me out. The thing is, now his Starmie is Scarfed, so I mean, I could find a way to get around it since he's locked into Side Shock. I can just do whatever I want, and then here I don't. I don't know what I was doing. And, like, just looking back at this battle, I just made so many mispredictions. It's ridiculous. I go for Superpower, predicting him to switch into Heatran, because Heatran scares the living hell out of me. So, I should have went for Swords Dance here, but I didn't. And, you know, with the Swords Dance there, I could have definitely, like, wreaked some havoc on his team. Thing is, he's gonna switch out after I go for Superpower, and I'm gonna switch out along with that because I got the defense drop, and I just don't want to take more damage. So I go into Metagross this time, and I'm like, alright, Metagross can take an Earthquake from Hippowdon. It's happened before, I've used Metagross a lot, so I know it can. So I'm just gonna go for Ice Punch, do as much damage as I can, and then just let it die off. I do go for the Ice Punch, and luckily, I get the crit. Now, this crit obviously mattered. I know Hippowdon would live. It would live with probably around a little less than half HP, because this Metagross is just so powerful. It's ridiculous. Adamant Metagross is really nothing to laugh about. Its power is enormous. But I take out the Hippowdon. Now he goes into Heatran. I'm like, alright, he's gonna go for Flamethrower, Earth Power. I don't care what he does. I do not want to take the hit. I do not want to take the hit with anything else, so I'm just gonna let my Metagross die. So now I'm gonna go into Hippowdon, you know, thinking that maybe he's locked into his Earth Power, and I assume that he is. I think this is a Specs Heatran. So finally, I make a decent prediction. Like, this is like the first one all match. I go for Ice Fang on a Rotom instead of going for Earthquake. So now, like I said, even though I knew he was a Resto Chesto set, I couldn't have done anything. So obviously he's gonna go for Rest. He's just gonna get the Chesto Berry, and I'm like, alright. So even though I know what set he was, I still wasn't able to counter it, which proves that, you know, either I'm a very bad player, or this was a very bad game for me. So I go for Ice Fang, and then luckily again, like, the Hax gods love me in this match, although they bite me in the ass later in this match, so it was like pretty evenly Haxy. I get the freeze again, so now I go into Scissor. I'm like, alright, the only way for me to take out this Rotom is for my Scissor to basically superpower it to death. So I go for Swords Dance. You know, I have a feeling he has Will-O-Wisp, so I'm just gonna have to take advantage of this right away. So I'm gonna go for Swords Dance, and I really should have went for one more and just taken the risk. That was weird, I stuttered. And went for, you know, one more so my, like, Scizor can even do more damage. Actually, no, it's kind of pointless because he's going to bring in his Heatran now, and since my Scizor is defensive, I mean, it's not defensive, it's like max HP. It actually has a lot of special defense, a couple speed, and some attack. It's really mixed EV, but that's what the bulky Sword Dance set is on Smogon, so that's what I used. So he's going to go into Heatran. I have a feeling I cannot outspeed it. So I go into my Hippowdon, and here he gets a crit. Now, my Hippowdon could have easily taken on this Heatran, you know, went for a very powerful Earthquake to take it out, or on anything on his team, because his Rotom just died. So Earthquake would do amazing damage to anything on his team. It would have killed Starmie, would have done anything. And here, I don't know why. I mean, obviously, I don't know why he switched is pretty much it, because that's probably why he switched, because since he's locked into Flamethrower, he knows my Heatran's coming in, so that was a good plan on his part. But I should have let my Hippowdon die off as like no HP, and I would have killed I would have killed a Starmie. But in either case, he's gonna go for Scald. It's not gonna do much damage because this is a especially defensive Heatran. So I'm just gonna kill it off with Lava Plume. You know, it doesn't really make a big difference. And yeah, it's a dead Starmie. Like, finally, I'm starting to make a comeback in this match. But with all the hacks and all the mispredictions, I was extremely frustrated. Honestly, I thought I lost until that crit on Hippowdon, like, just brought some life into me and made me keep going. So he's gonna go into Celebi. I thought he was going to bait me to go into Lava Plume so he could switch into Heatran and then proceed to destroy me. So I went for Earth Power, but unfortunately, again, I make another misprediction. I thought these predictions were so good, and then they all come around to backfire me. It's like before I had a match where I didn't like do any over predictions, and this time I do too many. So this is like, you know, like life lessons in battling. Like, don't predict too much, because like this, it's gonna turn around to backfire, because he's a good player and I know him very well. So yeah, like, don't always make these kind of predictions because they tend to backfire. I mean, obviously 1 or 2 will win you the game, but you know, if you're trying to make like 7 or 8 like me, it's gonna backfire. So basically, I mean, nothing really of importance happens. I'm just gonna keep going for Lava Plume as he's gonna keep recovering, and then eventually, I guess I just take him out. I guess he just wanted Celebi to die, because this was going nowhere. So at least thankfully, he lets the Celebi die, and now he's gonna get a free switch into his Heatran. I believe Heatran? I'm not sure. No, he goes into Scizor. That's right. So I was predicting a superpower, and he makes a very nice play, because I can't over-predict anymore in this battle. It's just gonna hurt me too much. So I fodder my Hippowdon, which actually was made for very good fodder here. And he goes for U-turn, you know, predicting me to switch out, which was a good plan on his part, because like I said, I was in no position to over-predict anymore. It's backfired on me so much, I was just afraid to do it again. So, he's gonna go into Heatran as I go into my Heatran, and I'm like, I have no hope unless I can live this Heatran's Earth Power. Now, I know I'm very specially defensive. I'm gonna get as much HP as I can with my leftovers as he goes for Earth Power, and I'm like, alright, I'm just gonna stay in and see. I was thinking he'd take me out, because I'm still thinking he's a Specsay. I don't see him like restoring HP. Maybe he's Scarfed. I mean, I totally forgot that Scarf is an option. He probably is Scarfed because that didn't take me out. So, yeah, this is definitely a Scarf Heatran. I just realized that, but yeah. So, he goes for Earth Power. He does not take me out. The problem is I get the Parahax. That was crucial. That clinched it for him. I had a fighting chance still. And then he gets the Parahax. Now, I understand the Ice Punch crit mattered. The freeze X mattered. So, this was very fair. He definitely deserved to win this battle. And that clinched it for him. Because he went for Earth Power, I got paralyzed on my Earth Power, and that's pretty much good game. So I'm going to go into Scizor. He's going to switch out just in case, because my Scizor can live in Earth Power. So I go for Super Power. He goes into his own Scizor. I should have predicted that, but like I said, I was just too scared to over-predict anymore. And at that point, I lost all hope. Now, I don't even know why I kept trying to do this. I tried to set up more with my Swords Dances and, you know, whatever I could do. But it's obviously pointless because his Heatran definitely outspeeds me since it is definitely a Scarfed. I mean, I really don't think I realized that during the course of the entire battle that his Heatran is Scarfed until like me narrating it right now. But basically, that's going to turn out to be a good game. He's going to come in with his Bullet Punch. I don't even know why I went for Swords Dance, but you know that's what happens. So yeah, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this battle. It turned out to be a very close 2-0 match. But with the hacks and everything, like he really deserved to win due to my bad plays and all these hacks. But yeah, guys, so I hope you enjoyed this battle. Sorry for not narrating a long time. I don't know how the quality of this narration is. I actually don't think it was too bad. But yeah, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this battle. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I will see y'all later.